And welcome to our brand new show here on Access WDUN.com. Slightly off target. As we welcome you inside our studios here at 1102 Thompson Bridge Road. Jeff Hart to the left of me, and our producer, Seth Chapman. Welcome, guys, to the show.
It's always fun to be here.
Always fun.
It is. I'm interested to see how this new show goes.
Yeah, this is a new show that we kind of created to.
The last show got canceled.
Yeah, the last show was canceled. So we've started a new show, which this is kind of the beta version, I guess you could call it, as our pilot, I guess, in the video world, or whatever you want to say the world is.
I guess pilot would be right.
So
pilot would be right.
This show is going to encompass everything sports, everyday life, but mainly it's going to have a sports feel to it, as we are the sports department here.
But not just a rehash of everything that we've been doing. We're going to touch on some topics that some of them will be controversial, some of them won't be. We're going to have some guests.
We're going to leave the controversial up to you, Jeff.
Oh, I got no problem with that.
You love pushing
I don't really
that
care what
boundary,
people say about me or think about me, so I'm the perfect guy for that.
Look, I need to start the show with one thing. Let's go, Baylor.
Whoa. No.
Yep.
No, it's Zags.
Zags.
No. This is Zags.
So the percentage done by our in-house percentages.
It's going to be an epic.
Is Caleb
2 days?
Hey, Caleb's got the breakdown. This is Caleb Hutchins right here, folks. Caleb Hutchins with his breakdown of who could win the office bracket pool.
Now, me and you are both agreeing it's ABC.
Yes.
Anybody but Caleb.
Would that be anybody but Caleb? Yeah. That would be right.
ABC.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's going to be great because when Baylor knocks out Houston, he's done.
Although Caleb has the best chance, according to his stats, to win the office pool.
His stats, of course.
His stats.
Yeah, it's a little dubious.
Of which you printed.
Well, he printed it and handed it to me.
Yeah.
I didn't print it. He printed it and handed it to me. I think you want to make a point out of the 7 possibilities. 4 are for him.
Yeah.
2 are for you and 2 from 2, 4, 6. There's 8.
Well, we're going to pull for UCLA, or I am.
Oh, I am too.
Are you?
Oh, absolutely.
Aren't they playing Gonzaga?
No, UCLA. Oh, yeah, wait, no, I'm pulling for because wait a second, you got me all confused. I was thinking Houston. No, I'm pulling. Who's playing Houston? Baylor.
That would be right.
All right, so let's knock Houston out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so then it would come down to me and you because when Gonzaga wins, because they're going to destroy UCLA. I don't think there's any doubt about that. That's going to be brutal.
Sure. Well,
yeah, brutal. Well, they haven't. Every game they've won's been like by at least double digits. I mean, in the tournament, they're like 15, 20 points a game.
Yeah. Okay, so we found the right person to talk about this NCAA basketball
tournament.
Somebody
that's actually played.
Somebody who's actually played. Somebody who has you can go on eBay right now and purchase his Florida State Seminoles basketball card.
Now, I'm curious.
At this moment.
What year was that? 94? 94. So so we're talking 27 years. What is a card from 27 years ago of a guy that played in the NCAA? What is that worth? Before you, I would be willing to pay $5-10 for that if it was one of my favorite players.
Well, you're going to get a better deal than that.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's
how good
99
of a deal?
cents right now.
99
we
cents.
welcome Coach Chuck Graham to the show, Coach.
Hey, you guys are slightly off target.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, wait, on how much we would pay or how much you're worth?
How much you will pay?
Okay.
Coach, welcome to the show, man. The first person we thought of was you because we know you've played in it. And first off, before we really get deep into it, what is it like playing in March Madness?
It's a totally different atmosphere than like the regular season games because you look at the history of the tournament. You see all the upsets. So everything is going through your head during that first round game, which is one of the reasons why I believe the first round game is definitely the toughest game. Once you get past that, then it becomes more like a basketball. But definitely in the back of your mind, you're playing. We always went into the tournament like the higher seed, so you're always thinking about the upset.
It would seem the higher seeds, if they're seeded properly, would have an advantage. They're supposed to be the better team, but in the first round, that seems to be the round where if you're a lower seed, that you got nothing to lose. And is that why it's the hardest round? Because teams haven't played for a while. There's always the upsets, and everybody going into the tournament can feel like they can win a game. Is that why the first round is the hardest?
Yes. Going into my junior year, we were in the ACC. We finished second in the ACC that year. We had like the defending national champ, Duke, at that point. But we go in and we played. We were a 3 seed out west, and we're in Boise, Idaho, and we're playing against Montana, which was a much older and experienced group, a bunch of seniors, like guys who had redshirted. And we jumped on them early. But they, as good teams do in the tournament, they're going to make a run. And they ended up making a run. And for probably about like a good 10 minutes, we were kind of on our heels, and then we kind of figured it out and just started playing. But yeah, that first game is definitely tough.
Coach, you watched the Michigan game last night.
Yes.
So I want to put you in Howard's shoes there at the end. Now I know we can go look you up online. Florida State's got a paragraph or two about you on their website, and it says that you're a 3-point shooter. You also can dunk too, because I asked Coach one day, Coach, can you dunk? And all you sent me was a YouTube video of you slamming down on somebody, which was hilarious.
It's nothing like adding, you got to add the video with it.
It was like
proof.
No doubt. So you're in Howard's shoes at the end of the game. What are you drawing up there? Are you drawing up the 3-point shot? Are you drawing up the drive, draw the foul, or get the easy layup?
Well, did you guys catch the women's game the other night?
No, we're going to talk about that.
I knew this one would come up.
Yeah.
So understand on the drive, I would think as a coach, that's your best chance, because it's a tie game. Either you get go to the line and knock them down, or you get an and one.
Unless you're Alabama.
But how is that Alabama? I mean, Michigan, the way they shot the ball against Florida State, I'm not so sure I would have gone for the three ball. Yeah, I mean, they shot the ball extremely well, even though they struggled against UCLA, but they're a pretty good shooting team.
Yeah,
you would have gone for the 3-pointer.
I'd have gone for the 3-pointer, because your best look sometimes may not be, because they're playing for the drive, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that for me, I was like, dude, just drive the ball, and but
if you leave it in the ref's hands, you may, especially if they, referees have a tendency to swallow the whistle, like we saw in that UConn's women's game. Yeah.
Why is that? Why in the NCAA tournament? I mean, you've watched a ton of games. Why is that the tendency of the refs? A foul is a foul, whether it's in the first 3 seconds of the game or the last 3 seconds of a game. Supposedly a foul is a foul. Why is there the tendency to swallow the whistle on an obvious foul?
I think the referee's approach, and this is just me now, my opinion, I think at that time you want the game to kind of play out. Now, if it's something just really over the top, I mean, it may be a little more physical than the rest of the game, but that young lady, that actually altered her shot.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you just take a little bump on the dribble, but when you go into your shooting motion and you get fouled, I think you have to call that. But I see it playing out both ways. I mean,
Bo said that if that had happened and he was coach, he's getting tossed.
I'm
he's
getting
on
tossed.
The court. He's throwing things.
I mean, season's over. So.
Yeah. You just have to sit the next 2 games out in the next season. But
that'd be worth it.
That would have been well worth it, though. That would have been well worth it, because that was a foul on any level, no matter what time or point in the game.
Well, that's what we were going to ask you. It seemed like an obvious foul.
Yeah, it was an obvious foul. But like I said, sometimes it's a human judgment, and whether the ref didn't get a good look at it or not. But I mean, everybody in the United States saw it.
So how's your bracket doing right now?
Oh, it's gone. First weekend, it was gone.
Oh,
really? So are you an upset picker, or are you you stick with the higher seeds? What's your strategy when you sit down? Because obviously you know the tournament because you played in it, but what's your strategy?
Well, I mean, seeing that my nose were in a position this year to actually do some things, I had them going pretty far. But no, normally I'm a higher seed guy. I always look at point guard matchups and assist to turnover, and 3-point percentage. I think that if you can take care of the basketball, and if your team shares the ball, you have a high assist ratio. I think that's a recipe for winning in the postseason.
Interesting. He goes for guard play. There were a lot of good centers in this year's tournament. You go for guard play instead of inside presence.
You got to get the ball to the big guys, and the teams that are
spoken like a true guard.
Yeah, the four, and that and that was part of Florida State's problem this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the 6'9" kid that's an awesome player, Scotty Barnes, and will be a fantastic NBA player. But I think at the core, we didn't have a guy that can beat people off the dribble and create shots for everybody else. So
who you like the rest of the way?
Man, it's tough. We got a lot of good matchups. I'm a huge Kevin Sampson's fan, and I love Baylor. The player development, to see what those kids were and to see how they are now is unbelievable. And UCLA, I mean, what a story. You got a guy from the Midwest, go Hollywood, and bring a little bit of toughness in there at the Final Four. But I think when it's all said and done, Mark Few's been in this for a while, and I think he's gonna cut down the nets.
See, that's music to my ears right there. If Gonzaga wins it, Gonzaga wins it, I win. If Gonzaga wins it, I win.
Well, now, as we said, there's scenarios here by our own Caleb Hutchins, who has also picked Gonzaga to win it.
I know 4 of the 8 scenarios have Caleb to win. So we're going to have to, probably have to get Porterhouse in here to re-audit the point system and just make sure that that's correct. So half of the scenarios, Caleb wins, even though he's in 3rd place right now.
Who's in first? Who's in first?
I am.
Oh, man.
And the ABC method, right? Anybody but
Caleb.
Caleb, yeah.
Yeah, because he'll throw Smokehouse Barbecue or something at us.
Oh, my gosh. He's going to not – I mean, we'll be talking about this like in September. He'll go like, so how's that Final Four go? I mean, no, we just can't have that. No, absolutely not. It's got to be one of us.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us today, man. We just want to talk to you about it because we know you've been there, you've done that.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach Chuck Graham. We'll talk to you later, man. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Interesting.
Love it.
A guard who thinks studies the guard play, and that's the key to the
of
NCAA
course it is
play.
the key.
And if we had got Hakeem Olajuwon on, do you think he would have said big men?
You got to get it up the court first.
Now, see, I totally agree with that, and I think in a high school level, you look at high school level, if you don't have good guard play, it's difficult to win.
Right.
And I would assume it's probably even more paramount at college. But colleges, the teams are a lot more even, and you've got to have 5 positions that can play and score. Big men are key. I mean, that's what makes Gonzaga so tough. I mean, the guy inside he's unstoppable almost. When he can score from all over the court. They have good guard play and they have a good center.
Well, hopefully they don't play.
Oh, I think they're going to play. I mean, as long as there's not a COVID.
Let's go, Baylor. All right, we got some special features for you on this brand new show as we're going to hit one of them right now from our own Jeff Hart.
Guys, I don't know about y'all, but this has been one of the best NCAA tournaments in recent memory. Unfortunately, not many people have been able to witness it in person because of COVID protocols, which is one of the reasons that a story that came out yesterday, Kim Mulkey, the Baylor women's coach, in her post-game interview after a loss to UConn, said that she hopes that they don't do any more COVID-19 testing for the Final Four, which I'm all for. I think that'd be great. She was advocating for that for the simple fact that wouldn't it be a shame that if one of the teams that is in the Final Four suddenly got a case of COVID and they had to quarantine and then they had to forfeit a Final Four game? I don't think anybody would want to see that. So that brings us to, why are we still testing for COVID at all? How many games were lost during the regular season during high school basketball, high school football? We had some college, due to contact tracing. People really not even sick, just being perhaps around someone who might have had COVID. I think Coach Mulkey is on to something. I think it's time to just stop testing altogether. If you're not sick, why are you testing? 15,400 tests conducted by the NCAA during the final during the NCAA basketball tournament. 2. Uno, dos. That's how many people had COVID during the entire tournament. That's 1 out of every 7,200 people or 7,600 people. So, or tests. So if we're not finding any COVID tests, why are we still testing? I'm all for that. I think she is on the right track. I think it is time for sports to stop testing for COVID. If we're not sick, don't test. Games getting wiped out. We had one game in the NCAA tournament that got wiped out for COVID. It would be a crying shame in one of the best NCAA tournaments of all time to see a Final Four game or even the championship game have to be canceled because of a contact tracing positive COVID test. Kudos to you, for Coach Mulkey, for bringing this to the attention of the NCAA. Hopefully they will listen. Hopefully it will trickle down to the high school level, local level, and maybe even the pros. This has been From the Heart.
Always a good one, Jeff, From the Heart. That's going to be one of our weekly series. It's either going to be you or my rant.
Oh, I can't wait for your rant.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Your rant's going to be better than that flute music that was played before that. I don't know what that was.
Music.
It's like I'm going to tell you, as being in a band, I would never pick the flute for any of that kind of thing. You got to come up with something better than that, Seth.
Do you think that she was still upset after the loss?
I think, I don't know if she was still upset. She had a great press conference after. They asked her, what'd you think? Well, what'd you say? Well, it looked like, then write that. I mean, I think she had the greatest press conference after a game like that where they're approached about a non-call. It's like, write what you think you saw. If you didn't see a foul, write that. You saw a foul, write that. My question has always been, I've seen thousands of basketball games. You've coached in thousands of basketball games. And I jokingly do this week, Gene Anderson, one of our in-house guys, he's a high school ref. So what is a foul? I mean, I'll give you my definition. You tell me what a foul is.
What is it? Gene describes it as displacement?
Maybe. I'll tell you what a foul is. It's whatever they call.
Well, of course.
Which means, do we really know? All I can say is, like we were talking to Coach Graham, in the first 3 seconds and the last 3 seconds, if you get hit in the face, that's a foul. I'm sorry, it's a foul. I mean, as I've always understood basketball, you get hit in the face while you're shooting the ball, that's foul. I mean, it's not, it's the end of the game, so it's not a foul.
Right.
Well, in that case, if I'm the other team, I'm just going to start punching the players in the last 3 seconds to make sure they can't get the ball.
Well, I'm going to say this about Kim Mulkey and what she said. So USA Today has got a story out about this, and the lead of the story is somebody needs to remind Baylor coach Kim Mulkey that the COVID-19 pandemic isn't over. You did the stats in your From the Heart. Now, we've seen throughout this COVID, quote, pandemic that's going on, that contact tracing has taken out a lot. Contact tracing.
Not the virus.
Not the virus.
Contact tracing.
Contact tracing.
Somebody walks down your sidewalk within 30 feet and they have COVID, you can be quarantined.
Well,
I mean, that's,
let's
I may be
bring it back
exaggerating
into the sports side of it, because the contact tracing
that's kind of what it
is the fact that
if somebody walks
somebody has a COVID-19 positive test, and you're within 6 feet of them,
right?
You've been contact traced.
Right.
You're out. You're done.
If somebody could walk by Butts Mayor during spring practice, I mean,
well, it's not that extreme.
No,
but
but
you're talking about walk down.
Well,
we're talking about contact tracing, which means
what is that? But what does that define? I mean,
that
do
defines
things jump off of people.
Piece of string.
Is that what
in a circle in a classroom?
Okay, it jumps from one person to
or
the
on
next.
a team.
I don't know what. To me,
I think contact tracing needs to be eliminated. Period.
Absolutely. And if you're going to eliminate contact tracing, there's no point in testing.
Now you can,
unless someone's sick. If you're not sick, you don't go to the doctor. So why are we making everybody test? You're not sick, but come over here. We got to test you.
Right.
Every day, my wife goes into work where she teaches. They have to temperature check her and all that. She's not sick.
Okay.
But
Newsflash on the temp check. Newsflash. When I had COVID, I had no temp, so I could walk in her classroom. I mean. Technically,
a lot of this makes no sense to me.
So
you
can walk into the stadiums. Hall County forced you to have your temperature checked going into a stadium. Every football game.
Right.
I could have walked into the stadium and covered a game because I had no symptoms.
That's correct.
Other than a chill, not really a chill, an ache, a body ache for about 12 hours and a small cough.
Right.
I would have never known. So,
right.
But
the thing is,
that's one point away from Bo for
it's on
cell
mute.
phone activation.
It's on mute.
Mine didn't sound like it.
I know.
Yeah, mine's on mute.
I'm not sure.
But
thanks.
You're not, if you had the flu, Bo.
Yes.
First of all, you probably wouldn't go outside because you had the flu, and you would say, hey man, you want to come over? It's like, no, I got the flu. I'm gonna stay home.
Right.
Because you had the flu because you're sick. Now, you're not going to go out around people. And most of the people, if they were sick with COVID, they're not going to go outside because they're not going to want to go outside. And I'm not trying to downplay COVID. I've known people that have had COVID. I had a relative that died not of COVID, but during all of this, she was elderly and, no one could visit her, no one could do. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on with all this. It kind of makes no sense to me. And I don't want to see a tournament game wiped out at this stage, but it would. I would almost enjoy seeing one just to see what the reaction would be.
Well,
because if we're not, she brought up not testing during the Final Four.
Well, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you set the parameters of we're going to test before every game, VCU did not get to play in the tournament.
That's what I was going to ask you.
VCU did not get to play in the tournament in the first round game because of that. But when you get to the
final,
final,
back in now?
I don't know. But if you're in the Final Four, we're not going to test anymore. Now, I think she's right. They shouldn't test at all.
Right.
But she's saying, well, let's just not test for the Final Four because it would be a shame. Well, it was a shame. It would have been a shame if it had been an Elite 8 game or a Sweet 16 game or even a second round game if you suddenly, contact trace, you're out. I mean, what would have happened if that happened to Gonzaga, who's an odds-on favorite to win this thing?
It could still happen.
It could. And I just think that's
Except Baylor's going to win. But it could happen.
So now, what you're wanting Gonzaga to get COVID? Is that what you're saying?
Listen,
you don't want to.
Today is Wednesday.
You don't want to settle on the court.
Today is Wednesday.
Okay.
The game's on Saturday. There's plenty of time
for somebody to get contact traced.
To get contact. No, I'm being serious.
Oh,
here.
I know.
I'm not
totally
joking
agree.
about it.
I totally agree.
There's plenty of time to completely blow this Final Four up because of contact tracing.
Right. And that's why I said in my.
What's the percentage of people who have been contact traced that actually get COVID?
That's a great question that they're probably not really going to answer because they already know the answer, which is probably very little.
There are kids out there, students out there that have been contact traced probably 4 or 5 times during the school year and never get COVID. So why do we continue to contact trace? You can send emails in complaining about USA, their lead, the pandemic isn't over. Well, you've got the WHO organization telling us that if you don't have the symptoms, don't wear a mask. I mean, it's clearly on their Twitter page.
I think you could say the flu and cold season has actually been around for 5,000 years.
Anyway.
It's not going to end.
It's not going to end.
When will this COVID thing end? And I think what we're wanting to see is kind of return.
Just stop the contact tracing.
Stop all that. Just stop it because.
Get rid of it.
Yes. We had too many football games and basketball games in high school local
for contact tracing.
For contact tracing. Buford couldn't play for 35 days.
Contact tracing. All right, so next feature of the show.
We're done with that?
Yeah, we're done with that. Let's move on because the contact tracing just
it gets your blood boiling.
It does. The contact tracing, and like I said, COVID is real, but the contact tracing is ridiculous. Sorry, people. It's ridiculous.
That's the problem.
All right, so the next segment of the day is...
It is this week's Cutaway, our new segment that we're doing, Cutaways. Mind you, Jeff has seen this. Bo has not seen this yet. So we will cut everybody's mics, but when we return, this will be his reaction to having seen this bit
for the very first time. I know who the guy is in it. I can only
Here we go with word of the day from Coach Dave Bishop.
Culture. Shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an organization. Culture defeats strategy in coaching. Culture.
How do we like that, guys?
For a moment, I thought we were going to Sunday school.
I think he was dead on with culture.
So we've come up with a segment, Word of the Day, and the first one, the first name that popped up was, of course, Coach Bishop. And he's always gracious with us.
Oh, yes. He's always been very, very kind with doing the somewhat silly stuff for us.
I think he just likes being on the show. This is his way of getting on the show. But that's okay. We thank you for that. But that was good. Yeah, the first time I saw it,
What was the word of the day?
Culture.
Culture.
He's got a pretty good one over at North Hall. Top headlines of the day, Jeff. He is upset at the Atlanta Braves, folks. Braves open on Thursday in Philly. And of course, our own Bill Wilson and Jeff have this jabbing going back and forth about the Phillies and the Braves here. But you're not happy about a move that the Braves made earlier this week.
Not at all. How do you keep Pablo Sandoval? He's like 400. He weighs about 600 pounds. Supposedly he's better than Johan Camargo. I don't get
so
that
his
one.
age is 400 and he weighs 600 pounds.
Something like that.
That's a lot of LBs.
I mean, he was on the Giants when they won World Series like 10 or 11 years ago. I mean, he's
So why are you not happy? Why
because
are you?
I just felt the bench is not as good as it was last year. I mean, there's no Culberson. He's gone. I mean, when Culberson came up to bat, when Camargo came up to bat, you just always felt like they were going to make something happen. The bench is, Pablo Sandoval. And who's the other guy here? It's, I don't know how to pronounce it. Adrianza. Okay. That's your bench. I mean, that's
Love it.
That's your bench. Now there are other guys on the bench because, probably Anderson Inciarte is going to be on he'll be the fourth outfielder. Okay, you got Riley that's at third, Albies at second, Freeman at first. I mean, we still have we have an all-star lineup. It's still the best lineup in baseball, but the bench is just not as good, and that's going to be key. But getting to
there's 160,000 games, Jeff.
Well, that's the beauty of it.
So
that's
plenty of time to fix that.
You find out the best team.
That's right.
Over a course of that many games.
And you and
we
Bill.
do have a comment from our own Caleb Hutchins, though.
Oh boy.
Quote. Go Cougs. End quote.
That's it, huh? That's it.
Whatever,
He didn't want to address
no punctuation, no nothing. Just
he didn't want to address anybody but Caleb.
He's going to be so sad sitting all alone at Buffalo Wild Wings on Saturday.
No, he's not going to be alone. He's not going to be alone. We're going to be there. We're going to be there, consoling him afterwards.
Consoling.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to meet up and watch that at Wild Wings in Gainesville. So that'll be pretty good. But to get to Bill Wilson. So Bill Wilson's, 2 weeks ago, he's like, God, Philly's going to win this whole thing.
Did he have his jacket on?
Oh, every day.
Because I turned the air down?
Every day, whether it's on or not. But he is
such a cold-natured individual.
They got the best pitching staff, and the lineup's a lot better. They have a great bullpen. Now, MLB.com.
Bill's going to be crying by midseason.
He's going to be crying by Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. MLB.com. Now, I don't know about you, but I think they know a thing or two about baseball.
Perhaps.
Now, they're not always right.
No.
But they have the Braves.
I heard you tell him this.
Number 4 in the power rankings in all of MLB.
Yeah.
The Phillies are 18th out of 30, 10th out of 15 in the National League. They're like, I think, 4th in the NL East. And he says they're going to sweep the Braves opening weekend. So that's what I'm saying. By Sunday, the season's over for the Phillies because the Braves, if they go 3-0.
Wait, are you going to play cards at his house on Sunday?
Probably.
Okay, that'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you video that one.
Oh, we will.
All right.
So we're definitely going to get that. But, I'm not. The Braves have a great starting rotation, and when they get Soroka back, it's going to be even better. Might be the best rotation in baseball when they get him back. They've got the best lineup. I honestly think it's World Series of bust for the Braves this year. But,
Ooh.
But the bench, I'm just.
Isn't that every year?
I don't say that every year. This year,
when you say World Series or bust, are you saying
I think that this is the team.
Coaches are fired.
I don't know that coaches are fired. I just think when you look at this team as it's been configured over the last couple of 3 years, you got Acuna, you got Albies, you got Freeman, you've got Ozuna, okay, you've got
it's a really good lineup.
Soroka, Max Fried. Yes. It's an all-star at every position. This smacks of the mid '90s Braves, and this is a team that should win it. I think can win it. If they don't make the World Series, I just think everybody in the organization is going to be disappointed. I think they were up 3-1 last year against the Dodgers and didn't get in. This is a team that should win it. Now, if they had Soroka last year, they would have won it.
Braves open on Thursday in Philly. Vanderbilt has announced a $300 million project, folks. All funded by Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and all the teams that fill the stadiums for their home games. This is a combined project, football, basketball facilities, and a new Vandy United Fund to raise money for the athletics program. I thought that's what Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida,
Auburn,
LSU, anybody that wants to go to Nashville to have a good weekend.
Yeah.
I thought that's who funded their program.
That we do. And here's what's funny about that. Now, I think I mentioned this before in other shows, but, had long-time tickets at Alabama. I had season tickets for a while at Georgia. But we went to one Vandy game, one Georgia Vandy game in Nashville, and every year since we get a thank you note from Vandy, and how can we help you? Is there anything that we can do to help you from the Vandy athletic department? Every year. I've gotten not one letter ever from Georgia, not one from Alabama. Vandy thanks me for the one game. Did you enjoy
your stay?
I loved my stay. I mean, Georgia won. We had a good time in Nashville, but Vandy, they thank me every year for the one game I came to ever at Vandy. In Georgia, I've gone for years and years and years. I've not gotten one thank you letter ever.
So no upgrades to the field. It's just upgraded meeting rooms, offices, training rooms, and expanded locker room, and a full-length indoor practice field adjacent to the outdoor practice fields. That should be interesting. Basketball is going to get dedicated practice courts for both men's and women's teams, along with improvements to the weight room and locker rooms and offices. So they'll have a place to maybe prepare better for games.
I had a friend that went to Vanderbilt Law School, and the prices they charge him in the 80s, it's just shocking that they don't have better facilities already with the prices they charge just for the tuition.
Yeah.
So
this thing with Deshaun Watson is getting out of hand.
No.
A few more lawsuits have been filed on the Houston Texans quarterback and, of course, Gainesville native Deshaun Watson. This is just getting ridiculous. The amount of lawsuits that continue to pile on, and granted, make the statement up front that if it did happen, then something needs to change with that, obviously, because not do I condone any of the accusations that he's had, but you have to really look at it and say, did it happen? Is it real? But when you keep getting more and more lawsuits, it's like,
I don't know. That's the real question. I have made this analogy to other people, not to go off sports or off target, so to speak. But this is a lot. Remember a couple years ago.
I'm proud of everybody for working that in at some point.
We tried.
I'm proud.
Thank you. That's a good name, by the way. A couple years ago in the Alabama Senate race, they tried to knock one of the candidates out. So they piled on all these accusations that 30 years ago, 25 years ago. The sheer number forced the guy out, and then they all disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So if it really happened, why was there no prosecution? Why there was no lawsuits? Real stuff happened after the fact. Once he dropped out of the race, crickets. Never heard from these people ever again. The lawyer, the women, anything. And look, I have a wife. I have a mother. I had a daughter. I wouldn't want a guy to do any of this stuff to any of them. That would be the last thing they ever did. So I'm not condoning any of that. But when you have sheer numbers like this, there have been stories about the shadiness of the lawyer that's bringing the lawsuits. What's the purpose of all of this? We got in a discussion earlier today in the building. If I'm Deshaun Watson and I'm truly innocent of all of these charges, I do not settle in any way, because once you settle, you're done. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether it's an admission of guilt or not an admission of guilt, once you settle, the perception for everybody is, oh, he did it. And if he did it, he's done. I mean, his career will be over. His contract will probably be voided. So you can't settle. Now, if he did do it, there was why would be my guess. Why would he do this? We all know Deshaun. I mean, I covered him. We probably all talked to him at some point from him growing up here in town. This is not anything of what I would throw at Deshaun Watson as far as what I know of him.
That's what a lot of people have said as well.
Yeah, I've talked to several people around town.
Davos Sweeney came out on that. Anybody that's coached him, anybody that knows him, and it's just continues to pile on.
Yep.
I mean, it was 10, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, now 21.
Is the purpose of this to discredit him? Because what I hear from some of these women is like, well, I'm just upset because he won't apologize.
What is there to apologize about?
I don't know.
I mean, if he feels like he doesn't need to apologize.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. If all they want is an apology, so see, there's a lot of conspiracies right now. Is the Texans behind this for some reason?
I know there's a bunch of crazy conspiracies.
I mean, are they trying to discredit?
Crazy?
Well, if they're trying to discredit him so that they can void that huge contract they signed, you could see that. You could see this as part of the end game here. They get him to do that, and then it all goes away. Well,
the interesting thing, another story that came out yesterday late afternoon, was the Texas general manager said the lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson alleging sexual assault and inappropriate conduct are certainly, quote, in quotations marked, certainly troubling and something the team takes very seriously. And he also went on to say, we made a statement at the beginning about where the organization stood. I would say it's a legal situation, a legal process, so we certainly respect that.
But they also did not come out and say, this is not the Deshaun Watson.
Right.
We know we stand behind him 100%.
Well, they're locked in a battle.
I understand. And that's
because Deshaun had mentioned that he didn't want to, that he could possibly sit.
See, that's when all this started. He says, well, you're not going to trade me. I'm going to sit. Boom. 3 lawsuits, 6 lawsuits, 12 lawsuits, 20 lawsuits. The timing smacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem of it. Now, again, not condoning anything. If he did this and did all of this, he's going to get whatever punishment's coming to him.
Right.
I mean, something will happen. Okay, if he did all this. If he didn't do all this, then these people that are coming after him should be ashamed of themselves. And this is using this kind of a thing to try to discredit someone makes it harder for real instances that are out there to be believed.
Right.
So, again, not saying we don't believe it, or not saying I don't believe it, because I don't want to speak for you, but just the sheer volume.
Need some hard evidence.
Yes, the sheer volume and the timing is what concerns me as far as what is the purpose of all this, because there's been no charges, there's been no nothing. It's just we're going to throw some more names out there.
Yep. All right, so Georgia, they have signed on with a home and home with Louisville. I know everybody's excited about that in football.
Oh, I thought it was going to be in basketball. Oh, well.
Late 2020s, so you can enjoy it. Jermaine Burton, his injury is not expected to impact the 2021 season for Georgia, because that would hurt. Because
I've had some fun texting things with Morgan. Sports editor at Access.
It's his birthday today, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Is it Morgan's birthday today?
I believe so.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Congratulations, Morgan.
Hey, you made it another year. I mean, how about that? There we go.
Congratulations.
Well, I was reading something, and that just happened to be the word. Honestly, but he was Morgan. He cracks me up with his doom and gloom sometimes.
Oh boy.
With Georgia, this one was pretty funny. Let's see.
And it's going to take you an hour to find it.
No, he just says, we could be one snap away from a national title, and an asteroid will strike. God hates Georgia. That's what, and I said, wow, I'm not sure I'm ready to go there yet. But it's, look, I can see that. It's just weird how this happens to Georgia every year.
Look, right, Georgia's schedule set up for them in 2021.
Yeah, they can pull from the practice squad and go undefeated.
But they're going to have to go undefeated with that schedule of weakness. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And
I feel bad for anybody that got season tickets to that, expecting like some real football games to be played.
In the high school sports world, baseball season, it is rolling down the stretch. So is soccer. So is tennis. Tennis in the region championships at this moment. And you got track and field that's rolling toward May. And who else am I? Golf is also there, but high school baseball is. Well, it's being affected today by rain.
It is.
Because it is
Some
pouring
big
outside.
games happened yesterday.
Yeah, some big games.
North Hall, number 2 and 3A, took down number 1 and 4A.
So interesting. I mean, yeah.
North Oconee. That was I'm going to tell you, North Hall gets teams better every time. They're really young. And that's going to be, a team to really watch. And North Oconee had only lost one game. They were scoring 10 runs a game. North Hall held them to 1. That was the lowest output of the season. And it was a well-played game on both sides. And I tell you, and Dawson County knocking off Cherokee Bluff. I mean, wow, Dawson County's really been struggling this year. And Bluff has been kind of really they got the train rolling here. I think they had a 6 or 7 game win streak snap with that. That was kind of a shocker. Buford's rolling. I mean, I've talked to several people. If they lose, look, it's a lot of pressure.
Is that what you call what Buford's doing?
Rolling? Yeah, look, when you have that much talent, I'm sure there's pressure.
There's another word we could use that would sound.
I don't know.
I know one that rhymes.
Steamrolling.
Okay.
Bowling.
Rolling,
bowling, knocking down the pins.
Knock them down. Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
That one didn't hit so well.
I don't know.
I'll take a point off my side of the board.
You had 2 B's, I guess. You can, but I don't know.
Wow. Chastity had a chance this week against Madison County. Lost yesterday 11-1.
Well, no, they won.
Or Monday.
They lost Monday, but then they turned around yesterday. Won 8-6 yesterday. The one game we don't got video of.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, get with it. You see our cameras roll up. That's the time to really, come on, give us a show.
So the rubber match will happen on Friday, April 2nd for Chastity. That's important.
That's
match
a huge
there.
look. That's a huge series because right now it looks like North Oconee is probably going to roll to that region title. They swept Branch. They still have Jefferson come up. Branch took the first game against Jefferson. Chastity, Madison County, that group, they're going to be battling for 4th spot because I'm not sure that I see anybody knocking off the other 3. If Chastity can win that series, that's going to give them a tiebreaker edge. They still have some other games to play.
Right.
That's a huge, huge game for Chastity. Huge.
Well, we got some video interviews coming from the North Hall game yesterday.
Coach, who says small ball doesn't win anymore. I mean, you got 2 great pitching performances and 2 squeeze bunts, really.
Yeah, we're not the home run team, and our guys. That's what we've been focusing on. I've been telling them we're not that team. Every kid in baseball wants to hit a home run. Okay, but when it comes down to executing the little things, that's what really wins baseball games. So I thought they did a good job today. We had to get base runners on. We did a good job hitting the ball the other way against a tough pitcher to get those early runners on. You can't execute and do things unless you have great at-bats early in the inning. So they did that and did well, and then we executed like you were supposed to. And we do those things, and you have to do those things against a really good baseball team.
I feel like this team is really making some strides forward.
I hope so. And like I told them, I don't think they're anywhere close to what they could do. We're so inexperienced. These guys are needing these games to build that confidence, like you said. So.
Well, you got the game-winning hit, and you got the save on the mound, and you beat the number 1 team in the state. How does that feel?
I mean, it's a lot to take in. I mean, I was just really excited. Adrenaline was pumping, ready to go. I was ready to run through a brick wall there at the end. It's just a great team win overall, too.
We're talking to Coach Flo. You guys are kind of still young and learning how to win. What does a game like this mean for y'all and this group and moving forward?
I mean, I think it was huge for us and showcase what we can really do whenever we play to our potential. And, I mean, we just really made plays all over the field, put the ball in play, and played to our strengths tonight. I think we can do a lot of that moving forward.
Personally, I know you're getting a lot more responsibility on the mound. How do you feel as far as moving forward? It's your first year in Burrs.
I feel great. I mean, I got a good amount of innings last year. I mean, I felt great taking on that role. I love the role, and I look forward to getting more time as the year goes on.
All right. Well, thanks. Congratulations. Nice game.
Trojans big winners over number 1 North Oconee. Of course, Trojans number 2 at 3A.
They're number 2 in 3A. They were number 1, but then, White County knocked them off in that one game series last week, so that, knocked them down to number 2. And I was talking to Coach Lowe afterwards about, who are the teams to beat. He really likes Hart County. I think he feels like his team can be there toward the end. And the pitching that I see from them is better than I was kind of anticipating for this year. Defensively, they're usually pretty solid. And they're not a home run hitting team. They've had some power in the years past. But this is a group that's going to have to, they're going to have to single like they're doing here. They're going to have to hit and run. And what was great about that game last night is that was really old school baseball. Got a runner to third, and they bunted him over. They bunted. Guy beats it out to first base. So now there's another runner on third, and they come up with a squeeze on the next. I mean that.
So back-to-back bunts. The second was a squeeze.
Bunt, but the second one was a true squeeze. And it was, usually I can anticipate these kind of things. I really just did not think they were going to pull the trigger on that. And that's a perfect bunt right there. Look at that.
I tried to get Seth again on the no dirt on the slide, but he didn't fall for that.
Fool me once. Shame on you.
All right, so
fool me twice. I've done something wrong.
The Thursday schedule is, it's kind of getting larger because of the rain today. So we'll have a list of those changes up on the website, accesswd1.com. Friday schedule should be nice. Should be no rain for Thursday and Friday. Hopefully the fields will be dried up and ready to play on by then. They should be. Bluff and Dawson play on Friday. Elbert, Rabun, Flowery Branch at Jefferson, and a big game there.
Huge.
That Flowery Branch Jefferson game, is it rescheduled for Thursday, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So that's a huge matchup.
And that's at the Hog Mountain Sports Complex.
Lumpkin County at West Hall, Madison at Chestatee, Stevens County at East Jackson, West Forsyth at Gainesville, White County at Gilmer, Winder-Barrow at Habersham Central. Those are all Friday, April 2nd baseball games.
We're working on the rescheds that are coming in on from today. We've gotten quite a few. We've got to figure out who's going to go where. They might be. I know the North Hall Duluth game has been canceled. That was a non-region game, so there's just no makeup on that. That's a shame. But some of the other ones are coming into Jefferson. Like I said, Jefferson Flowery Branch has been moved to Hog Mountain Sports Complex tomorrow. So they're going to go Thursday and Friday. So that's always
back to back, baby.
That's always interesting in high school when you go back to back. When you have two really even teams, if the first game goes extra innings, how is that going to affect the pitching staff for the third game? And that's a huge series. I'm not going to say it's for second place because there's still a lot of baseball to play, but the winner of this series is going to have the inside track unless Jefferson can somehow take out North Oconee because North Oconee swept Branch. So Jefferson's going to have to sweep North Oconee to have a shot.
Gonna be interesting. All right, guys, wrap for the show today. Our brand new show, Slightly Off Target. As well, we continue to build the show. We were off target.
Way off target.
Way off target. Light. Thanks to Coach Chuck Graham, Gainesville boys coach, joining us to talk a little bit about the Final Four. I will leave it at this. Let's go, Baylor.
I'm gonna let you have that.
Yeah. Go to accesswd1.com to find out all the soccer changes, schedules, if there's any, and the baseball schedule changes as well, and what's coming up on the sports scene this week, the rest of the week and the weekend. For Seth, for Jeff, I'm Bo. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone.